Welcome to another on-the-road video, brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com. Stop! Before beginning any repair, always be sure to disconnect the power to the appliance. It is also recommended to test the outlet for the proper voltage. Remember to also turn off the water.
All right, today we're going to be changing the inlet valve. It's the cold water valve. The very first thing that we're going to want to do today is to shut the water off to the appliance. Your main shut off, just shut it off there. The reason we're replacing it is because the top of it is leaking. The tools you will need to complete this repair are a set of channel locks or wrench pliers. Also, you will need a Phillips head screwdriver. First thing we need to do after shutting off the water is unplug the unit. After that, you'll have two screws on the back of the top panel, which can be loosened and taken out. All right, after taking those out, you can loosen up the top. The top should come right off. Here's the old valve. You can see the top has a good amount of lime and calcium buildup that ultimately looks like it busted through the plastic inlet to the top. You can see the difference here between the two. After unplugging the unit, turning off the water, after you can remove, I already loosened the hose in the back. Loosen that, put somewhere elevated so that it does not drip on the floor. After that, your next move is going to be removing the two retaining screws from the back of the valve here. Before you do that, you can also just remove these harnesses. Sometimes they can be a little stuck on there. Just give them a little tug. Make sure to pull straight out and don't wiggle them. So then we're going to remove these two screws that retain the inlet valve into the frame of the unit. After removing the old unit, the old inlet valve, you're going to leave the hoses on the old valve and install the new one first. So then so when we remove the hoses, we can click them and you know exactly which ones they go on, so there's no confusion there. To install, it's very simple. It's the same two screws. Just want to slide it in back and just kind of line it up. You can stick the screw through first if that helps you. It catches pretty easy. It is plastic that it's going into. What we can do next is start to unhook the hoses and plug them into the corresponding slots that they go into. All right, after replacing all three hoses, make sure they're on there all the way back. Then we're gonna take our channel locks and put the clamps back on. And after putting on all three of the clamps, your next move is going to be reconnecting the harnesses. All right, after putting your clamps back on the hoses, make sure they're nice and tight on there. After such, you just want to reconnect Your harness is here. Just gonna give the unit power. After reconnecting all these, your next move is going to be to reconnect the water back to the inlet valve. We can plug the unit back in and pop the water back on. After turning the water back on and plugging it back in, you want to leave the top off and run a check so that you know that it's not leaking out of any of the hoses, and that your inlet hose in the back is not leaking also. It's very important that you do that. After turning everything back on, water on, power back on, you can leave the top off. What we're gonna do is run it through a speed wash so the water comes out a lot faster. And we're gonna set it just to cold, because in this case we only replace the cold water inlet. This here is the hot, this is the cold. This is what we replace, so that's what we're gonna check. Go ahead and hit start. The back hose feels good, doesn't seem to be any water leaking. All right, everything looks good. So we can pop the top back on, throw in your 2 retaining screws on each side, and your repair is complete.
Thank you for watching another quality video brought to you by ApplianceVideo.com.